Hello lovelies, welcome back to another episode of Wedding Wednesday Q&A where we answer your wedding questions. And we are gonna go get right to it. Today's question is from Laura. Are all-inclusive wedding packages money savers? Yeah, that's really good. That's a good question. So just before we get started, I just wanted to point out like the most common vendors that will offer all-inclusive packages. Usually they're wedding venues, so catering will be there. They probably have options for you to rent their decor. They have an in-house florist, say for example, an in-house decorator, an in-house cake baker, or dessert person. So a lot of wedding venues already have that in-house, or they have outsourced that, but those people already have access to the venue. So it's just easier for everyone all together to get that all in one place. Another vendor is the photographer, videographer. Usually more often than not, that is a tandem. Like there probably are two photographers that are working alongside two videographers. Now, there are some cases that really only have a videographer that is only expert at videos and doesn't work closely with a photographer. That have happened, and those were pretty successful weddings as well, mainly because they just know how each other work. So if you're doing that separately, make sure that they've already worked together in the past so they know which angles, like how they work together, how the files are going to work together, what's the vibe. So that's just something to consider. Another vendor is usually your florist. So your florist more often than not is also your decorator if you choose to book them separately from the venue. You do have the florist, the decor person, and if anything, they probably have a lot of rentals as well. So they have either chairs, linens, candles, all the other things, plants, all the other rentals, they usually have access to that as well. So those things kind of are easier to have all inclusive in terms of design and cohesiveness. It's just easier to have everything in-house. Wedding planners, they have all-inclusive packages in terms of if you do full planning with them, almost all of the services that you need that you should have been doing by yourself, you can definitely pass on to them. And then there are also wedding coordinators, which is usually on the day of the wedding. But if you're looking for an all-inclusive service for your wedding planning, obviously that's why they're called wedding planners. They do have that. DJs, usually they have all-inclusive packages that comes with the lighting, the smoke machine. Usually these are the things that the DJ has. Makeup and hair artist, usually they have all-inclusive packages, meaning you have a trial. On the day off, you have the actual makeup. In between, probably the ceremony and reception, you have a touch-up. And like towards the end of the night, maybe another quick touch-up just for those late-night photos that are super fun and super beautiful. So those things, those vendors are usually the ones that have all-inclusive packages. Now, I just wanted to make sure that you know what I'm talking about before I go in and discuss about all-inclusive packages. When you choose to have an all-inclusive wedding package, of course, it's going to potentially save you money compared to planning each aspect. So you're looking for a photographer, and then you're going to look for a videographer, and then you're going to look for a decorator, and then you're going to look for a rental company, and then you're going to look for a florist, and then you're going to look for your makeup artist, and then another hair artist. So you're saving that time of looking for those services individually, where these professionals already have that in-house available. This is the time to really check and look into the vibe that you want to have through your wedding planning journey. Do you value convenience, affordability, and less detailed work? Because if you do, then of course all-inclusive wedding packages may be really a good option for you. You speak to the venue, they have everything, you just take everything from them. you book everything through them or from them, and you're good to go. And so if you're not into all the little details and you don't want to really get to know each and every single vendor to that level of like a personal relationship where you're going to have to go through all your wedding plans, you're absolutely good to go with all-inclusive packages. They will also simplify your wedding. So because the services are already bundled, they are usually offered at a discounted rate, right? Like they'd rather keep you all together and give you a better competitive rate. I'm not saying they're gonna lowball, but it's still competitive and will save you that time to look for that other person or other vendor to provide you that service where they already have it and already have you. You're already in a meeting with them. If you trust them, if you've seen their portfolio, if you've built a rapport with them, then it's just a little bit easier to trust them, and you've seen what they've done in the past. You just know that they're gonna do great. If you love to track expenses, all-inclusive packages might be better for you, mainly because you see from one vendor all of the services are already broken down. If you have a question about something, you just call them and you don't have to talk to somebody else. And you can coordinate all those services offered because it's coming from one house. So like one house meaning like one vendor, right? So they're offering that all-inclusive package. So it's easier for you to cohesively go through everything with them, making sure that they are according to what you have in mind. However, if you've been here before, you know I do have a lot of however and I have a lot of buts because every person's different, and I want to make sure that all of you feel seen and heard, and there will be a lot of other situations that might not be applicable. So, word to the wise. All-inclusive packages, definitely not for everyone. No, not for everyone. If you have unique requirements or specific vendors you prefer to work with, some of the offerings in an all-inclusive package might not align with your needs. Say, for example, you have been eyeing this decorator or florist for the longest time, like you're just like dreaming to work with them. Mostly, more often than not, that florist is so focused only on the florist side of things. So they will work with other vendors for sure, that's not a problem. But most likely, luxury wedding flowers, say for example, that's most likely what they're just gonna offer. And that's where the high-end market is a little bit different than more of the all-inclusive packages, because they are so focused on just one service. Like if I am gonna provide you with videos, if I am your videographer, best believe that's my only expertise. That's what I'm going to give you 100%. And if that's something that you like and you want that relationship and you want that specific service or art or creation from that vendor, then yeah, no, all-inclusive is not for you. You're going to have to go individually for each service that you're looking for and get that from that specific expert in that field, if that makes sense for you. Whether it is about saving money or just convenience altogether, with an all-inclusive wedding package, it still depends on the specific details of your wedding, right? Like what you have envisioned. Because just because someone can offer something in-house, that doesn't mean that it's gonna match what your vision is exactly. So this is where a little bit of work has to go in, because then you're gonna have to carefully evaluate, like if this vendor is offering A and B, and this vendor is only offering A and the other vendor is only offering B, what is the quality of work that I'm looking at? What is the money? How much money am I saving? What is the work involved? What is the time spent? Like, is the time spent worth it? Am I supposed to go into more details? Am I saving time? Am I saving money? Where are my efforts going? So it's just a little bit of looking and comparing and just doing a little bit of comparison to see what's really what, and like, is it worth it to have A and B together or have A and B do separate vendors? Looking at the expertise of each vendor is also key, like what have we mentioned earlier. Do you want someone who does two things? Or do you want someone that has been an expert at one thing for years and years, if not decades, or basically for a very long time, right? This depends too on what you prioritize and what you value. So say, for example, it will make sense that a photographer and a videographer can technically have a good team going. Like, that will make total sense, right? Even though there is a little bit of, well, just not a little bit, but there's a lot of nuance between editing and putting together a cinematic video, right? But if you are just looking for someone to really do, like, to just cover the wedding in terms of video and a cute video, and you're not looking for something so cinematic or like, a movie trailer, then maybe you don't need to have an expert videographer. Maybe you can take that all-inclusive with a photographer, because those photographs that you've seen from that photographer's portfolio is exactly what you're looking for. So again, which one do you value? I mean, you can also value everything. That's not a problem. It's always best to have an expert work at one thing, but it will also make sense if you want to save money and if you understand that maybe I don't have to have a cinematic video. I mean, why won't you? But if you're not into that, that's totally okay. Maybe your photographer have another person in their team that can do that for you and save you a ton of money. Your hair and makeup artist together from one vendor, that makes sense to me, especially if they've been working together for years from that company or from that team. That will make sense to me. They know, they have their own logistics going, they have their own communication going, and you can't go wrong if that is an all-inclusive package because you know that they work together. Now, if you have a relationship with your hairdresser for the longest time and you want her to do your hair because you feel like she knows everything about you, because that's just what best hairdressers are, that makes sense that you would want to have a hairstylist separate from your makeup artist. Just because it doesn't make sense to other people doesn't mean it's not going to make sense to you. So think about the things that matter to you and think about what you value the most and see where you can save some money. I mean, sure, you want a great wedding, but it doesn't also hurt that you can save money here and there and still get the great wedding, because that's totally doable and possible. So go through your priority list and see which ones make more sense bundled or like all inclusive, and which ones need expertise, right? Like all inclusive, 8 hours of everything from your makeup artist. I'm just gonna follow you around. If you have some streak of oil on your nose, I will pat it. I will pat that oil. I will powder you. If you're a hairstylist, all day I'll be there for you. If I see some like baby hair sticking out, I'll make sure to tame them. All these things, like what is important to you? Like even for me, if I have someone all day that will literally tell me or like help me with my baby hair sticking out and like tame it, I would love that person. Like if there's a premium, I will pay that premium, because that's very important to me. I've seen pictures of myself where I have just like, how come nobody even told me to like add a little bit more gel or like hairspray, because my baby hairs, they're sticking out. And so that's important to me. And if there's a premium attached to that, and that has to be through a separate vendor, then I gotta have to do what I gotta have to do. With all-inclusive, it's also streamlined in a sense where if you're making up your timeline, you're only speaking to a very few list of vendors, right? Like obviously it's easier to coordinate a smaller list than have every single vendor in your timeline, and you have to coordinate them, and there are going to be a lot of moving parts. So if there's a shorter list of vendors because you've got mostly all-inclusive packages, then it can really save you time and effort, because you now have like a very few point of contacts that can handle logistics. And it's just you just don't need to send them different copies for the timeline or contract reviews or details, whatever the case may be. It's just a little bit more manageable for you. One of my really favorite all-inclusive packages are, if anything, of course the wedding venue for sure, but The transportation. There are limo companies that will have like, they can include like light snacks like cheese and crackers, or I mean, I don't know if that's a light snack, that's not even, but that's not gonna get me satisfied. But if you're looking for some light snacks, maybe some champagne for pop-in or for the pictures, or some lighting, some signs, usually there are really great limo companies that offer that all-inclusive with like however long you're gonna book them for on your wedding day. So that is a kind of an all-inclusive package that will definitely make sense. Like, I mean, you don't want, I mean, do you really want to bring your own champagne or have someone deliver that there? That is an all-inclusive package that totally makes a lot of sense. You can try and look to compare a la carte versus all-inclusive wedding packages. That really depends again on your needs and preference. And if you need any customization, or if you have a lot of details, personal details that you wanted to incorporate, that will definitely affect a la carte versus all-inclusive review. For example, if you're looking to serve a specific cuisine for your wedding, even if your wedding venue offers all-inclusive packages, say for example, you know, the 3-course meals, for example, which is the most common, that will definitely save you more money. But usually, if it is a generic three-course meal, it probably won't fit your need and preference to have a specific cuisine, right? Like, it really is. If you're looking to have European food, say for example, and a mix with a fusion of like Asian, so like a few Asian fusion, say for example, that's what you're looking for. Some venues might not be able to offer that for you, and that means you're gonna have to ask for a specific caterer to provide that for you. If you're not specific on the cuisine, of course, if the venue can offer the generic wedding menu, 3 or 4 course, then you will definitely save money taking the all-inclusive wedding package. Before I end this, I wanted to circle back in terms of the photographer and videographer. A la carte will work better for you if you only need some type of coverage. So say for example, you only want to do up till 6 hours or like 4 hours. You don't want to go up to the 8-10 hours. A la carte will make more sense, right? Especially if you're having a shorter reception, a la carte coverage might be better for you than an all-inclusive. And usually, when photographers and videographers offer all-inclusive packages, it is at a minimum number of hours, right? Like, that's how they get the most value for their time and their efforts. And also they want to give you the best photos, because it's also important. I think when you have that much photos, comparing a 4-hour coverage versus an 8-hour coverage, of course you're going to have more valuable photos in 8 hours. Like, you're gonna have more to choose from. There are more moments that's gonna go by that they can capture versus a 4-hour. Not to say you're not gonna capture anything, but the comparison is there's gonna be more moments and unexpected surprises that can probably happen in an 8-hour window versus a 4-hour window. Now, what is the price difference between the all-inclusive and the combination of a la carte products you choose? If the price difference is between 15 to 20%, consider taking the all-inclusive anyways. Not to waste the money, I'm doing air quotes right now, but to make the most of their services. Again, that's make the most, air quotes. If the difference between a 5-hour photographer or videographer package and an 8-hour package, so that's a 3-hour difference, is 15%, why not take the 8-hour package? The 3-hour footage will be more, that extra 3-hour footage will be more valuable to you than you think. The 3-hour footage might capture moments that the 5-hour package will not be able to cover. And that 15%, I would say sometimes they're really worth it. For the DJ, if their package includes an MC, like they can MC and like introduce everyone, if you don't like that part of the package, but the package has dry ice and lighting, and it's only like 15 to 20% difference, I would say take it anyways. Those add-ons will cost you more in the end. And I know 15-20% will easily add up, but that's also why you have to choose which ones you take. Like what I said earlier, which one is valuable to you? Which ones actually, if not just one, but which ones are you willing to pay premium for because it's really important to you? You can save money by purchasing all-inclusive wedding packages. There is no right or wrong answer here. Every wedding is special, beautiful, and different in their own way. Keep in mind, however, I feel like I always have a however, and when I say that, now it like triggers me, just like, oh, I have another however. There is actually less flexibility and personalization for all-inclusive packages. And once you start fiddling with that all-inclusive packages, you will see costs rise up so quickly. So that's the other side. Well, I'm not going to say the downside, but that's that's a decision that you have to make for yourself. Like, are you okay with this? Like, you cannot really customize much. As a matter of fact, you probably can't customize at all. You're just going to have to take it or leave it. Take it and customize it and see the costs rack up, which makes sense. Like, the vendors have packaged these services accordingly, so it's going to maximize their time and be able to extend that savings to you, which is what an all-inclusive package is, right? But if you start to customize and like I'm not going to say nitpick, but maybe what if we take this out, and what if we take that out, and what if we add this on, and how about this? You're just going to start to see the cost rise up, and eventually you'll figure out that you're better off doing a la carte. To end this episode, yes, all-inclusive wedding packages are definitely money savers. But there's not a lot of flexibility or personalization involved. And if that is important to you, then this might not be for you. But there might be aspects of your wedding that can be okay to be an all-inclusive package. Go through your priority list and see which ones are you willing to pay premium for, and which ones are you okay with being part of an all-inclusive generic package. That is hopefully your takeaway today. And as always, we're here to inspire you to celebrate life and love. Don't forget to download your free wedding planning kit linked in the description below before you go. If this is helpful for you, don't forget to like and subscribe to get notified when we share more wedding tips. Until next time, lovelies, bye!